And I want to introduce a young man who is 17 years old. And I must say that this party has been able to attract people from all walks of life. And it's really good to see when young people can associate with the Barbados Labour Party, because they recognize that this party has been the mainstay for this economy for a very long time. And whenever we find ourselves in difficulty, it is the Barbados Labour Party that rescues us. This young man hails from this constituency. He's currently attending St. Michael's School and is a former student of Harrison College. He is currently studying entrepreneurship, economics and management of business, and communication studies at the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination level. He hopes one day of becoming a business consultant and an economist, and ultimately representing Christchurch West in the House of Assembly. So you can see that Christchurch West is in good hands, and this is no better place for this young gentleman by the name of Joshua Sidney to more or less start his political career. Let us welcome Joshua Sidney.
Hold it! BLP got the best crew. All aboard! Yeah! You ready to roll? Yeah!
Alright, so good night to the Christchurch West family. Well, I'm friends too, because y'all are welcome as well. Right. So I'm very pleased to see you all out here representing yourselves tonight and our country by extension, because y'all are showing me that y'all want change to be eminent around here, and I think y'all should clap for yourselves for that. So before I start, I just want to ask y'all how y'all are doing tonight. Y'all look kind of tired, drained. I mean, same, but y'all are. Pardon? You tired of them? I tired of them too, man. I tired of them too. So tonight, I'm going to speak to you very briefly, on two topics that are very dear to me. They're bothering me a lot, partly because of where I live and my day-to-day experiences. And these two topics that I would like to speak on is, the first one is pretty obvious, and that's the sewage epidemic that is on the south coast here in Barbados. And the other one is the fact that, well, the other one is the lack of opportunities that the youth see today, due to the fact that, sorry, y'all can hear me right? Due to the fact that tertiary education has been deprived from us. Okay, so as I stated before, I know this is not the first time you will be hearing about the sewage epidemic. And in addition to that, I am almost certain that you will hear about it again tonight. But it's not something that we should let rest easily, as they wouldn't fix it unless we continue to complain and show them how much it's distressing and bothering us. So we ain't gonna shut up about it. We really will not. So hear what the Prime Minister had to say. I had to take this extract for y'all tonight. And I quote, "So we have a problem. Not unlike what was going on in Toronto, Canada, not too long ago. A problem not unlike what is going on in Fort Lauderdale. A problem not unlike what is going on in London. But you have some elements here in Barbados who like to give the impression that Barbados enjoys some special dispensation and that things could happen in any other part of the world, but they should not happen here." To me, that does not sound like a prime minister that takes Barbados, and our well-being seriously. Clearly, this situation is a joke to him. Clearly, he does not see the businesses constantly shutting down day by day due to this sewage epidemic. Clearly, he does not see how he is messing with the lives of people and disrupting the comfort that they feel in their homes. by seeing sewage in their backyards, as we would have seen on social media in recent times. For a country that is based on tourism, this issue is a very large one and is not being treated as such. It has a negative effect on how repeat visitors to Barbados see Barbados, and it is something that would cause them not to want to come back here. And if our economy is to thrive on tourism, that's not something that we would want under any circumstances whatsoever. We're supposed to be a country based on pride and industry. It's something you hear as a child all the time. That's one of the first things you learn. What's Barbados' motto? Pride and industry. But it's hard to see that today, especially growing up and seeing the country deteriorating as quickly as it's deteriorating today. It feels as if Mr. Stewart stands for pride and stupidity, because I really don't understand where he's going with what is happening today. It baffles me, to be very honest. And you know what sucks the most? We in Christchurch West didn't vote for this. We didn't want this. From the time, I believe it was 1971, we have been Barbados Labour Party faithfuls, and yet we are the people that are directly faced with this sewage problem. And I don't understand why. For the life of me, I really do not. But you know what? We are blessed to have a candidate who knows the importance of health in Barbados, and he knows how big of a crisis this is. He knows how important it is for this situation to be solved, and I believe that when he is elected to go back in candidate, that he will do something about it, and we need to stand by him as a constituency today. So I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that sewage on the streets is a bad thing. But as we know, the saying goes, common sense isn't really all that common. So in addition to all of this government has a knack for undoing everything that their so-called founding father did for them. Ironic, isn't it? So let me give you a couple of examples. Hilton, something that we were proud to say was Barbadian owned since the year 1966, gone for a fraction of its value. And that's not the only thing that was instated in 1966 that they took away. They also took away a privilege that we had called free education, free tertiary education. So when you take away this privilege, you leave young people who don't have the money to pursue their dreams via universities elsewhere. You leave them without choices, and it's like, how am I going to make ends meet? Especially with the rise in teenage pregnancies globally, it's just like, how am I going to mind my child? I can't. I have to go and I look for a dead-end job. And it just frustrates the youth. And then we want to know why crime is rising, why the unemployment rate is high. There's so many questions that we have. And it's not to say that we don't pay attention to the fact that these things are being deprived of us, but if we want change, we need to do something about it. And we cannot afford for another 5 years for this government to be back in power. So this country needs change, and we need a government who cares for our environmental and educational needs. And a government that believes in these things really and truly should be elected, in my opinion, and in the opinion of, I'm sure, all of yours. So without further ado, in conclusion, I told you it would be very brief. I would like to urge you to vote for our candidate, Dr. William Dugan, and by extension, our next Prime Minister, our next Prime Minister, Mia Mottley, in the next general elections. Good night and thank you.
Just a little bit.